The South African tax burden is so high that even the highly paid people in the country cannot make the ends meet. We often say these people are overspending, but on the contrary, these people are having a heavy tax burden. A typical person who earns about 760,000 per year, that translates to about 62,000 a month, will pay an income tax of about 22,000 rands per month. So obviously there's about 40% or so of your income already gone to taxes. On top of that, you still have to pay other form of taxes like value-added tax, capital gains tax. You also have to pay fuel levies. The amount of taxes that are coupled to fuel per liter works out to about 36% of the price that we pay for fuel. So when you add all these things together, a person that earns about 62,000 a month, most of his income, about 70%, goes to paying different forms of taxes. If you dare try to save your money somewhere and make interest out of it, there comes a capital gains tax of about 9% or so. High taxes are forcing people into poverty because the tax expense is so high. People have so little left after paying for taxes to spend on themselves, and yet they have to spend whatever is left on the very things that the government should be providing. This is what Moelet Mbeki calls double taxation, because the government takes the taxes under the pretense that they're going to provide education, they're going to provide healthcare, they're going to provide the police. And yet, in your own personal capacity, you have to find your own private education because of the poor standard of public education. The same thing applies for healthcare. You pay taxes under the pretense that the government will provide healthcare, but you know that is not the case. So what do? You go again finding your own medical aid somewhere for a private entity to provide a healthcare service, because you cannot dare depend on government hospitals. Everybody understands their state. The same thing with the police. A lot of these taxes are taken because we have to pay for the police. And yet we have to spend more money hiring private security companies. We have to spend more money securing our homes, staying in secured estates, and having this 24/7 security guards. So there is an effect of double taxation. What is being promised is not delivered. So instead of spending the money that you have left after taxation on things that you want, you yet again spend that money on things that the government should be providing. After paying for all those things that should be provided by your taxes, now you have to buy groceries. And what happens? Everything that you buy have to be taxed, value-added tax, 15%. So there goes some part of your income, goes to taxes again. So at the end of the day, when you calculate all these taxes, from income tax, value-added tax in everything that we buy, to fuel tax, it adds up to about 70% of our income. So just think about this, 70% of your income going to pay taxes. If 70% of your income goes to income taxes, tell me, how is that different from slavery? This is how now a person who earns 62,000 a month all of a sudden have to use a credit card, have to go to the bank and ask for an overdraft or a credit card to cover for other needs, because most of the money has been taken by the taxes, is chronically in debt because of the high tax burden. Where are these taxes going anyway? And then we know the answer to that question. Most of the taxes that are collected end up in the pockets of the politicians. That's why corruption is so rampant in this country. So every day we hear of the scandals of politicians taking the money that is collected through taxes to fund their own personal projects. This is how the state capture came about. It was some politicians using their power to channel money from ESCOM and other SOEs to themselves and to the Guptas. The biggest beneficiaries of the state capture was the politicians themselves, the Guptas, and everyone else who was involved in that value chain. There is a problem with excessive taxes. Higher taxes slow down the economy because individuals have legally disposable income left to spend it on the economy. So instead of spending 100% of their salary on the economy, they have this 30% that is left. So if they had more disposable income on their hands, they'll be spending more. That means there'll be more businesses that are dependent on them. There'll be more pick and pays that are open because people are spending money. So that has got a positive ripple effect on the economy as well, because that means creation of jobs, expansion of businesses like pick and pay, because people are spending. You hardly hear people listing tax as one of their big expenses because we've been brainwashed not to think of tax as an expense. As far as I'm concerned, this tax system that you have is not progressive at all. It is actually evil because it penalizes hard work. The moment you work hard and you earn more money, that's the more taxes you pay. It is actually the low tax rates that stimulate the economy because it means after tax, the individuals have more money to spend on the economy, buying food, buying clothes, buying cars, and everything that they need. So it stimulates the economy because all of a sudden there's more demand for cars, so manufacturing will grow in the country. All of a sudden there's more demand for food because people have money to spend. So Pick and Pay must open more branches. The farmers must produce more because people are demanding more. It's been proven time and time again that the reduction of taxes actually stimulate the economy because there's more money in the hands of people to spend that drives all the economic activities. It's got a very positive ripple effect on the economy. But that doesn't happen if the tax burden is high because people simply have no money to spend. All the money ends up with the politically elite, which spend this money for their own personal projects. So we need to do something about these high taxes if we are serious about creating jobs and growing the economy.